Running a little bit late.
You ain't gonna have this.
Call the meeting to order. October 30th, 2018 City Council meeting. I'll be standing in for the mayor this evening. Let's stand and say the pledge. Councilman Clem, do me a favor. Lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you call the roll?
Councilperson Modesto.
Here.
Councilperson Clem.
Here.
Councilperson Williams.
Here.
Councilperson Cannon.
Here.
Councilperson Zilli.
Here.
Councilperson Lynch.
Here.
Councilperson Frisco.
Here. Pastor Ben?
Yeah.
From Sue Lynch's church, or your church?
That's what it is now. It's Sue Lynch's church.
Sue, do you want to introduce your pastor?
Yes, this is our wonderful pastor, Pastor Ben Allersmeyer. We love him dearly. He got us to do that German fest that we just had. So he's going to pray for us, and he's a great prayer.
Can I ask you, Pastor, to include the families down in Rochester, with the families that got hit by the bus, the children got hit by the bus this morning?
Oh, yeah, sure. Should I stand here or is this?
Yes, sir.
We pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the very gifts that you have given each of the members of this council. Give each member wisdom and humility to use those gifts in service to our community. Bless them and their families as they carry the heavy mantle of leadership. Guide the hearts, minds, and tongues of all in this room to communicate with honesty, grace, and love under the common purpose of prospering the city and people of Portage. Lord, you know that we're living in anxious and somewhat divisive times. Unite us to the things that we have in common and lead us from the temptation to focus on that which divides us. Keep us from distractions and self-interest as we work and lead side by side with integrity and kindness. And even if we disagree on means or ends, give us hearts to love each other as you love us. We place our lives, our plans, our city, and families into your hands. And Lord, we also place the families of the bus accident this morning into your hands as well. For those who have lost, those who are suffering, give them a comfort and a peace that only you can give. We pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor, for coming this evening. You're such a nice young gentleman. Sue speaks very highly of you and her church.
You love him.
Minutes of the previous meeting from October 2nd of 2018. Is there a motion to approve?
There are no minutes.
Second.
No minutes.
There are no minutes.
Yeah, no minutes.
It's mediation all day, so I couldn't. But if you want to approve them.
Okay, there's no minutes. Communication, correspondence, announcement, etc. from the mayor. Did not talk to the mayor today. Okay, he's not in attendance. As far as I know, there's no issues that he had called me on to make any type of talk to the audience or to the council members. Reception of petitions and memorials, none. Clerk Treasurer's report.
So I will talk a little bit tonight, just to kind of give an update on what's going on. We do have several agenda items. You'll notice we have some transfers tonight and then approving some interfund loans. So the departments are struggling right now, of course, to get through the end of the year through their budgets and make sure everything is paid. I've been working well with the police department and now the fire department, Tim and Dan Kodachek, on getting those departments, and Steve Nelson. I don't know if Steve's here, but Steve Nelson as well from Street and Sanitation. It's going to be a tough one this year. I'll be honest with you. This is probably as bad as we've had in many years in terms of bills that we're having to hold back for a little while until we can find money to transfer around, and the departments are kind of scraping and scrimping as best they can to make things work, but we're going to struggle this year to make it through. And I think, at this point, let's look forward to a good tax draw in December, and let's see where we're at. The budget that last month anticipated carrying over $450-something thousand from 28, a deficit from 18 into 19, and at this point we're going to be lucky to keep it at that number and for that number not to grow. So of course, every dollar that grows, that's another dollar we got to take out of next year's budget. So it's going to be a real struggle to make it all work. So again, thank you to the departments that are the big departments, police, fire, and street and sand, for doing what they can to make ends meet. But it's going to be tough on them. So.
Is there any questions for our clerk treasurer? Reports of city officials. I see Ted. Do you want to come up? Ted Uzelak, come up front. Do you have anything to bring up? Then that's fine. You're good. Is Tim here, Sosby? Yes. Tim, would you please come up and give a report for the fire department?
Yeah, not really a whole lot. Since we just had a meeting a couple weeks ago, I guess. Other than we did participate in the trunk or treat that was at Founders Square. I think we estimated somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 kids that went through where we were at. So very good event. They did a fantastic job putting on. Amanda and Christina, I'm not sure who else was all involved. I'm sure a lot of people.
Sue and I went through 3 bags of 1,000 pieces of candy each. So
yeah, our secretaries got tired of putting together little treat bags. We made 1,000. We kind of ran out of bags and things, but it went very well. The other thing is just tomorrow night, all of our crews will be out while the kids are trick or treating. In cooperation with the police department as well, we're going to be putting glow necklaces on all the kids that are out, adults. Even will wear them, I'm sure. But that always goes over real well, so we'll be out in force tomorrow night.
Well, thank you very much for doing that. It's safety for our kids out there.
For the last, I don't know, 8 or 10 years or so. Dan kind of heads that up. He's the money guy. He gets the money from various locations, and it's all donated money. So it's a real good project.
I just have one thing to add, if I may. On Monday, I had a chance to learn about your new MAC facility.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it sounds really exciting, and it sounds like Portage is a major player. It's a new training facility in Porter County in Washington Township that was actually, the initial money came from Stu McMillan at Task Force TIPS to build this training facility for local firefighters, police, and EMS. And once I get a little more information, I want to extend an invitation to the council to visit that facility, because they've done a remarkable job just building props and trying to reduplicate EMS and firefighting scenarios to help in the training situation, and it sounds like that we're taking advantage of that.
Yeah, we've had a number of our people go through it through different classes. We've put our last few new recruits through an academy there, and a lot of our people are actual instructors there. So
yeah, that's what I hear. Great. Well, thanks for being a part of that.
No problem. Thanks.
Good job.
Any questions?
No, thank you, Tim. We appreciate you coming forward. Randy Reeder from the street department. I don't see my friend Mr. Nelson, but I'll tell you what, you do a marvelous job. Tell us what's going on down there.
Something tonight, but just wanted to tell you about our upcoming leaf season here. We are getting as many calls and requests. Small appeal. We got 2 leaf crews out right now, doing Monday, Tuesday. We're going into Wednesday routes tomorrow, so we are on schedule for that. But there's a day coming when these leaves are going to drop, and it's going to be all hands on deck, and we get all the crews out. But I want to remind everyone, this Saturday is Senior Leaf Break Day, so Amanda's heading that up. So if anyone's got it on their list or anything to add to that, contact Amanda, and then she will comprise up a list of all those leaves to the curb, and then we'll be getting them Monday morning. So, but that's the big thing happening right now is the leaves.
Mr. Chairman, I also want to thank Randy and the police department and the traffic commission for getting that wonderful illuminated stop sign light at Samuelson and Oak Porter Road. I tell you, that's a great addition, and hopefully it's going to be
hopefully it corrects a lot of issues.
Yes, thank you very much. Everyone that was involved with that, appreciate it very much.
That's pretty
Public
dangerous.
safety at its finest. That's it. Thank you very much.
Good job, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Is anybody here from the park department? I see where Andy's not here today, our economic development. Kurt, did you have anything you wanted to bring up? I see you in the audience.
I'm just here for the zoning.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it for city officials. Reports of standing committees. Is anybody? Yeah.
Real quick, so if you remember a couple months ago, we appointed a youth advisor. Unfortunately, Simon is no longer able to fulfill that role. So the schools have presented another student to us this evening, and I think we want to go ahead and do that now, correct?
Yes, no.
Okay. His name is Mark Colby. He's a junior, and we will have him come up and talk a little bit about himself and welcome him. We're looking forward to having him at our meetings in the future.
That's a nice name, Mark. I like that. A nice looking young man. Go ahead, Mr. Covey.
My name is Mark Colby. I am a junior at Portage High School. I did attend Gary Schools in 3rd grade. I moved to Portage. It was a rough transition. I used to get straight A's in Gary. When I came to Portage, it wasn't that case. Later on, I got the hang of it. I started getting my grades up, got A's and B's. Played football for a while. Then my grades started to drop again. So I decided to quit football this year, focus on my grades. That was a tragic time for me. I am in the JROTC program.
Nice.
I enjoy it. We do a lot for the community, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. I think it's important. I think it's important that the city hears from our youth. We have great schools in Portage, good group of people over there, great kids. And it's important that you're part of this, you know, talking to the city officials and working with Councilman Colin Zilli and moving forward. As a matter of fact, we do have a group that meets with the city and part schools. And maybe if you could attend one of those meetings with our clerk treasurer, Colin or Liz, one of the council members, I think you'd like that. But we look for you to coming to us and letting us know how we can help the youth of the city of Portage. Not just city of Portage, I guess the township of Portage. It's very important because you're our future. You're our future. One day you're going to be running a lot of stuff, maybe the city, maybe you'll sit up here, but you are our future. And we're going to expect you to, to come to us for your needs.
Absolutely.
We're here to help you. We want positive things to happen in this area.
Absolutely. Communication between the city and the schools.
Council meetings too.
Yes.
We want to see you here.
Any input you can give us would be greatly appreciated as far as for the use of the city of Portage.
Normally it's the first challenge.
Now it's
Here we are.
Thank you for stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
We'll make a deal with you. If you come to every council meeting, we'll put you up here up in a chair up here at one of the tables.
What would you do then?
Done. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
It's a done deal. You can sit wherever you like, but don't sit next to this guy. He budgets.
Don't worry about it. I'm proving you to take over for me. Name like Mark, I'm right with you.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Sandy, thank you for coming. I thought it was your sister, but I guess your mother. Would you stand up? You got a wonderful son. What's your mother's name? Yeah, it's very nice. You got a great son, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Good job.
Okay, anybody else have anything before we go into introduction of ordinances? First reading, D.R. Horton rezoning. Colin, will you take that? Sure.
Ordinance number 18 an ordinance of the City of Portage, Indiana, amending Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code entitled Zoning Map. Be it and it hereby is ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana as follows. Section 1, this ordinance shall amend Chapter 90, Article 5 of the City of Portage Municipal Code and accompanying zoning map the following manner. The zoning shall be changed from R2, low density residential, to M1, low density multifamily on the described property. Description of real estate to be zoned, commonly known as the 20.3 acres east of the corner of Luton Airport Roads. Legal description see attached Let the record reflect this has been read in its entirety. Motion to suspend.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Is there anybody here from?
Kurt, can you speak to this?
Yeah.
D.R. Horton is a kind of nationally home construction company. They came to the city. They looked at the roughly 67 acres that's just east of this corner of Lute and Airport. In our discussions, we talked about maybe phasing a section between the single family and the higher density M2. We talked about continuing Loop Road to the east for connectivity, and we wanted some character to that road, just not a straight road. So those are those design things that we'll get into. But what you're here tonight is now for the 20.3 acres that will be used for this phasing effect, which is basically a pair of patio homes. That seems to be popular. We're seeing a lot of thought about those. Certainly, the Cardinal Crossing use of the paired patio is really looking up. As a matter of fact, the next Plan Commission meeting, we're going to see the next phase of that paired patio section. So that'll be on the agenda for the next Plan Commission meeting. So, any other? I'm not sure I can answer.
So I attended the Plan Commission meeting when this came up. It's in my district. One of the big questions was, would these be rental or owner occupied? They'll be owner occupied paired patio homes. So these will not be rentals. They're using it as a buffer between the apartment complex and the single family homes that they'll put in. Correct, I think they said 49 paired patios, right?
There'll be 49 lots.
Yes.
So 2 units.
2 units.
To there, so it's about 105, 110 or something like that.
And then I think it was 105 single family.
Right. That's their proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure how that's going to be skewed out because again, there's a concept plan. We have a concept plan in your packet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good concept plan, I think. How that's when it gets to final design, if it's really actually going to be like that. It looks that Loop Road, there's going to be no access. So I think we're going to have some landscaping there between the backyards of either the single family or the paired patio along Loop Road. So,
Kurt, I don't think I wasn't able to open.
Can't open.
Can you resend that to us? I'm just curious to see it. We weren't.
you can't open?
Cannot.
Via email, you could.
Yeah.
Our Dropbox is not open.
Okay.
I did on the phone, but.
Yeah, it's a PDF that went into there. So we can get that to you. If I knew that, I could have copied that for you tonight.
Let me ask you a question, Kurt, with all this housing going up. I mean, are we good with our fire group going out there, or our trash pickup, our city street department, our city police department?
Sure
I mean, how much is that going to affect our city services during your meetings?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can answer all those questions. Certainly, Chris Kinder is on the DRC committee with us.
Those are all favorable, I take it?
Those have all been generally favorable. Here is a new design, so he hasn't really seen this design. Again, we haven't been to design for this.
So I think it's important, the Plan Commission, and this is how it was described to them, this is the just change of zoning to allow them to do this type of thing. This isn't approving anything that the Plan Commission has not seen a final.
Oh, they haven't seen a final?
Anything for anything on this development other than they want the zoning changed.
So, yeah, sure.
Right, and it's, you look at the detention pond that they're proposing, it's like 6 acres. It's where'd they come up with that? I mean, again, we have to go through the
Okay, then I'm fine with the zoning issue, you know, I guess we'll deal with the rest, plan,
This is a start.
the plan later.
Anybody who develops this property, that would be my recommendation, to do the same thing.
Right.
One phase.
Pat, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, there's a couple questions, but they got it.
Anybody else?
Are you, since I'm not looking at it, are you perceiving any of this property to be apartments?
No, this is gonna be a paired patio, just as you would see in Cardinal Crossing.
This zoning change would only allow them to do that, right? They could not do,
That would be correct.
okay, that's what I, they would have to be M2, right?
Yeah, you know, they're proposing, you know, a cost of, in the plan commission, the comment, $190,000 to $230,000, depending on the two, you know, how many units it are. So it's gonna be pretty extensive. I mean,
That's just one half, that's not the whole thing.
I think it's 1,300 to 1,700 or 1,800 square feet
correct.
per unit. Bigger than our smallest home that we allow being built.
And then they did say the single family would be comparable to Hidden Waters, both in style and price.
Since I'm here, I'll say that the next item that we're going to address is D.R. Horton is planning a petition to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the single family. They're proposing a 70-foot lot versus an 80-foot lot. That's their typical design. Not sure we're so favorable of that, but that's what's on the horizon. That's their intention, and the only reason I brought that up is because that's been known to me, and that, you know, they have an application in the process. So, like I said, the next phase of the design that we're going to discuss.
We also have concern of the ditch there.
I was just gonna ask about that,
Go
so.
ahead, Colin, your district.
What are we doing with the ditch? I know part of the USB, we were just going to eliminate it and close it in, and we found out we can't do that. And I don't know that we've ever come to what we're doing with it.
Well, that is going to be part of the design process. They know that they have to handle something. They may be able to move it or use it part of their design.
Mm-hmm.
We're not there yet. We know those strategies have to get out there. We don't know what the tactics is going to be yet.
Sure.
Again, we'll know that as we start going through that design process.
I mean, I still have concerns with traffic. It's a lot of people in that area that are gonna be coming out of there. I'm hoping that they have multiple entrances and exits, such as at Monda and Loop.
Loop Road is a great opportunity.
So roundabout.
For a traffic control mechanism.
Yeah.
I like how you described that, Kurt.
Yeah, me too.
So.
Clever.
Again, I don't know, there are some of us that are a big advocate of that, because you need to move people.
I mean, it's a safety concern with, you're gonna have kids that are walking to the high school. You're gonna have teenage drivers coming through there that are coming out of the high school every day. If that being or either not a four-way stop or being an intersection that is not a, what did you call it?
Traffic control.
Traffic control device.
Yes.
Issue, especially it'll exacerbate the issue at Robbins and Airport as well. So if we're not controlling traffic at some point.
You mentioned a committee that Mr. Kinder's on. Tell us about that committee a little bit.
Oh, that's a development review committee.
Okay. Is the street department on that?
No, they are not on that.
I think the Council President Briscoe's concerns earlier that we've got some trash pickup issues, plowing issues, and things that And this
Just
traffic
Fire
issue.
department going there?
Yeah.
Police calls?
Yeah, maybe the street department should be invited.
They could, you know, that's,
Makes sense.
Randy, you've been appointed.
Yeah, just,
we're already kind of 8 members.
we need 9.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Well, maybe he's more of an advisory role. It
Yeah,
doesn't,
I mean,
doesn't necessarily have to be a voting
Actually, I think the
member.
mayor's gotta be the one to appoint him.
Well, anyway, I think
You sit in the meeting is what he's saying.
Yeah, we just need to say,
Information.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
And certainly when we get site plans,
Yeah.
subdivision plans, since I'm up here, I'll say that I just received an application for Cedar Creek 2 subdivision. So south of Cedar Creek along 149. That will have the second access to that. The previous second access was kind of taken away by NDOT and you know, people across the street, and they wanted a traffic device around.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of all neighborhoods should have multiple entrances because,
We try to,
yeah.
Absolutely.
we try to limit.
I think your police and fire will agree to that too.
It's much nicer now that Hidden Waters, I'm sure Chris appreciates having that second back entrance.
Oh, question on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just have one question for Kurt. When you're looking at things like that and adding capacity to the plant, do you check with the guys at the plant too to make sure that we have capacity? Because I know we have.
Dave Littleton is on the DRC.
Okay.
And Don has to sign off on it.
The capacity was already figured in. I think, Chris, we did a study and it was already figured in. I think, Chris, you might have told
But
me.
the
it wasn't-
old.
This one wasn't, but the others we were talking about, Cardinal Crossing had already been computed. But Don signs off on all the new plat.
Yeah, he said he was fine.
And John Hannon makes sure that he's the engineer, and he's
No,
on that committee also.
if we get about 10 of these these developments, we might be in a little trouble. I think they said if we had like 4 or 5 more, we might think about expanding the plant, so. It's something we need to look at in the next 5 years anyway, so.
It's good that a national home builder is looking at Portage. We've never had something like this before.
D.R. Horton's never.
That says something about Portage, that we've been recognized by a national home builder to come here and invest their money.
Never had that.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of them. My wife used to work for Ryland Homes in California.
Yeah,
When I
could
said
have been,
that,
yeah.
she knew exactly who I was talking about.
I don't think D.R. Horton builds in Northwest Indiana at all right now, right?
I think the closest is.
Yeah, I didn't think they had been building in Northwest Indiana, period. So.
I think that says a lot about our community that they picked here to invest in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor, don't we? I think we got it to a motion.
I don't have an emotion to adopt yet.
A motion to adopt?
Second. There was.
Oh,
Now
sorry.
there is again.
I got the motion to suspend, and that's it. Thanks. You do roll or you do all in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody nay? Ayes have it.
Good job, Kurt.
Yes, good job, Kurt. Thank you for.
Okay, first reading, official email use. Mr. Cannon.
Sure.
Called me the other day and I told you to dust it off and put it on there.
The minutes of,
Read it.
sure, the ordinance number 18 dash, an ordinance of the city of Portage, Indiana, amending chapter 2 of the municipal code entitled administration. Be it and it hereby ordained by the common council of the city of Portage as follows: ordinance chapter 2 article 3 entitled officers shall be amended by adding new section 2-86, read as follows: official emails. Every elected and appointed official and employee of the city shall use only their city official email account at portage-in.com for all email communications related to city business. Let the record show this has been read in its entirety and move to suspend.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Clerk Treasurer.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Oprisco?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Cannon, if you catch me using my personal email, give me a break my first couple of times with a warning, will you? Call the roll.
The email police will be after you.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams? Yes. Councilperson Cannon?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Oprisco?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
It took a year, John, but you got it passed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
How many years? It's been more than one.
I think he brought this up 3 years ago.
He did. And you didn't even vote for my ordinance last week, and I guess I should have told you beforehand. Second reading, 2019 employee salaries. Councilwoman Modesto, the budget chair. You take that one, please.
Okay, an ordinance establishing the amount of salaries and compensation to be paid to all appointed employees and officers of the city of Portage, Porter County, Indiana for the year 2019. Be it and it is hereby ordained by the Common Council of the city of Portage, Porter County, Indiana as follows. Salary schedule as presented by James E. Snyder, Mayor to the Common Council of the city of Portage, Porter County, Indiana. I, undersigned James E. Snyder, Mayor of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, as required by IC 36-4-7-3 by Acts 1980 PL 2112, Section 3, and IC 36-8-3-3 by Acts 1981 PL 309, Section 52, hereby fix the salaries and the pay schedule for the appointed officers and employees of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, beginning with the first paid date in January of 2019 through the last paid date in December of 2019, and request that such salary rates be approved by the Common Council. Section 1, that from this first paid date in January of 2019 through the last paid date in December of 2000, schedule for the appointed officers and employees of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, be fixed as follows. I'm not going to read through all the salaries, but I make a motion to adopt so we can have discussion about it.
Wait, did we read this last month?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
motion second. I think I'll make a motion to amend the office professional and support staff section and increase that. I believe this is a 2% to a 3.5% to match the section above for department heads.
I'll second that amendment.
Okay, the only problem I have with that is that the mayor has to approve it. I'm not against it, I'm for it, but the mayor sets the salaries for the city, for the 2019 salaries.
Well,
And we cannot increase them, the only thing we can do is decrease them according to state statute.
I thought it was the opposite of that.
You can't lower it.
We can't lower it, but we can raise it, right?
No, you can only lower, you can't increase. It's elected officials, it's the other way around.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right.
You're correct. I apologize.
So
how do we make that happen?
I'll motion to table this until,
well, why don't we pass it on the assumption that he will approve it to make the changes?
I'm making a motion to table this until next month.
Okay, why don't you take back your
I
meeting?
won't be here at the next month's meeting, so I would like to try to.
You know what, I could maybe hold a special meeting this month. We have the whole month, I don't have a problem with that.
I'll remove my second for the amendment.
And I'll
And
remove.
I'll work with your schedule to get it done this month, whether it's a couple weeks or whatever.
I say we make a motion to pass it as is and then make motions later. Or amend it later, pass it as is written.
Well, we can amend it to increase
Pass
it,
it
so.
We can
with the
get
amendment.
later, pass it as is now and then get with the mayor and make suggestions and make amendments to it.
Why don't we pass it under the assumption that he was, not the assumption, but pass it. We won't pass it until we get him to change those.
But if we pass it, we pass it. I mean, he could not change it.
Contingent on him raising those salaries is what we wanna do. We wanna pass it contingent on him raising.
I don't think we
those
can do that.
If we did that, then we can't repeal it, can we?
Yeah, if we adopt this, we
cannot-
can't go back and change
He
it.
has to submit a new one with the amendments.
I think we should wait till the special meeting, have that as
Okay,
quickly as.
I'll motion to table.
I'll second that motion to
I'll send
table.
out an email with some
The
dates.
special meeting, not to next month, but table it to the special meeting. Is that your motion?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're having a special meeting this month?
Let's not wait till the special meeting.
we can have it whenever, I can't be at this.
So we have a motion to adopt
We
on the,
already have a motion on the floor.
But if we motion to table, that
That can override.
supersedes a motion to
Right.
adopt.
That's the only motion that does.
Well, for one thing, I'd like to go back up here a little bit. Our second reading of our first ordinance. What about that second reading on that one?
So that's interesting. The first ordinance, I believe, was 3.5%.
Exactly.
Across the board?
For non-union employees.
Does anybody have that one? I don't have it.
And
So this one's been changed since then?
Yes.
It was changed.
But I would say by the mayor.
When did you email that today,
Yeah, by the
Amanda?
mayor submitting a new one.
When did you email that? It was like 11 o'clock or something this afternoon, morning, right? Yeah.
It just dies for the second reading? I mean, that just takes over the second reading?
Well, no, we're just motioning to table it to another meeting, so it'll be a second reading whenever we meet again to hear it.
Right.
Why would you want to do that when that one's the 3.5% that we're pushing?
Well,
because it's considered.
Because he gave a revised ordinance.
Changed it from one meeting to the next.
It's a revised ordinance this morning.
I mean, yeah, and he changed a couple of another salary.
There's been a motion for the table, I believe.
And a second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays?
Nay.
Can we send a recommendation to the mayor that we are recommending 3.5% straight across the board? Can we send that recommendation from the council to you?
Sure.
I think you just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can formalize it.
It's like a roll call.
Yeah, let's come to a roll call.
Councilperson Williams,
Wait.
this is on the motion.
Motion to table.
Table, yeah.
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon,
No.
Councilperson Zilli,
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch,
Yes.
Councilperson Aprisco,
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem.
No.
Motion.
Do we want to formalize our request of changing this from 2% to 3.5%?
I think we could just make an email or call the mayor and tell him.
Why don't we just have our budget chairman
Yeah, me as
Send-
budget chairman, I can contact
send that
him.
through the city email?
Through the city email to everybody.
Correct.
Well, he hasn't signed it yet, so you can still use your personal email until he signs it.
And he may be doing it.
Introduction.
You know, I just got
resolutions.
I just got my city email working, so I'm happy. So let me try.
Introduction of resolutions, the TIF expansion, resolution number blank. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana, determining and approving Plan Commission Resolution 18-01 as its written order of conformity with official planning documents in the City Approving Redevelopment Commission Resolution number 18-04 as an amending declaratory resolution and amended and modified the Southport Economic Development Area and the Economic Development Plan for the Southport Economic Development Area, as well as the allocation provisions related to the Southport allocation area for the purpose of utilizing tax increment and financings to implement the Economic Development Plan. Let it be read that this is read in full in its entirety. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion amongst us? And I know we tabled this last month and everyone was supposed to meet with Colin. Had any questions?
I think everybody did speak with him. Yeah.
You want to call the roll?
Councilperson Cannon,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli,
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch,
Yes.
Councilperson Aprisco,
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams.
Yes.
You can sit down, gentlemen.
Good job, Colin.
Yes.
That was easy.
Resolution of 2019 Marina Shores Assessments. Councilman Clem, you want to take that one?
No, thank you.
Councilman Williams?
I couldn't get my computer fired up.
That's what mine's keeps.
But I think I have a hard copy. I think this is it. Resolution number 18 resolution approving assessment roll and list of assessments of the City of Portage Marina Shores Special Improvement District. Is that correct? Is that the right resolution? Thank you. Whereas the Marina Shores Special Improvement District has been established within the City of Portage, and whereas Municap, Inc. prepared its annual assessment report and amendment of the assessment roll for imposition of assessments in 2018 and collection in 2019. It's in the form of a report. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Portage that the assessment roll and list of assessments set forth in Appendix A-3 of the report attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference is hereby approved. Let the record reflect that this resolution has been read in its entirety.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion?
Chris, can you just explain what exactly this is?
Yeah, every year you guys have to approve this. This is for the special bonds on Marina Shores. They're not an obligation of the city, nor are any city dollars used to pay these, but because they're collected on the property tax rolls, you have to approve the assessments to be paid by the owners of the various lots.
So this is on the special assessment from like 2007?
Yeah.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Prisco, sorry.
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon?
Yes.
It passes. Transfers number 2, various transfers number 2. Resolution 18, whereas certain extraordinary emergencies have developed since the adoption of the existing 2018 annual budget, so that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was appropriated in the 2018 annual budget. Now therefore, to meet such extraordinary emergencies, Section 1, be it ordained by the Common Council of the City, Portage, Porter County, Indiana, that for the expenses of said municipal corporation, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated in order set apart out of the several funds or fund herein named and for the purposes herein specified subject to the laws governing same. Corporation General Fund, appropriation number, appropriation title, and amount, total 300 series, the decrease is $83,433.36. Is that okay, Mr. Attorney, just to read that number without going through everything? Section 2, whereas it has been shown that certain existing appropriations now have unobligated balances which will not be needed for the purposes for which appropriated, it is further ordained that the following existing appropriations be reduced in the following amounts: Corporation General Fund, appropriation numbers, appropriation title, amount, total 300. The increase is $83,433.36, passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, is 30th day of October 2018. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, Treasurer?
Yeah, can you?
Chief Financial Officer.
So typically we do these in December each year, and what this is we take all the little bits of money that are kind of left over in the various line items of the city budget and cobble it together to fill in deficiencies in the budget. I'm doing this earlier this year because, like we talked about prior in this meeting, just because of how tight things are going to be, and we need a little extra time to know what we're going to be able to pay in December and what. The concerning thing about this is, unfortunately, it was only $83,000 we were able to cobble together. Usually, when we do this, we can come up with maybe closer to $200,000. So a lot less areas I was able to kind of cobble together this year.
So I'm assuming that this is what this is. The council salary, $41,597. We didn't over budget. That's what we're expecting. What is that?
And we'll be adding that to council salaries, and much of that is reimbursed. It may all be reimbursed. I didn't do the math, but that was related to the utility.
Got it.
Any other questions? Chief Financial Officer Stidham, do me a favor, call the roll, will you?
Well, Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto, or Prisco? Sorry.
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Various transfers number 18, whereas certain extraordinary emergencies have been developed since the adoption of the existing 2018 annual budget, so that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was appropriated in the 2018 annual budget. Now, therefore, to meet such extraordinary emergencies, Section 1, be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, that for the expenses of said municipal corporation, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated in order set apart out of the several funds or fund herein named for the purposes herein specified subject to the laws governing same. Corporation General Fund, appropriation number, appropriation title, and the amount under total 100 series decrease $262,500. Total 200 series decrease $2,126. Total 300 series decrease $1,900. Section 2, whereas it has been shown that certain existing appropriations now have unobligated balances which will not be needed for purposes for which appropriated, it is further determined that the following existing appropriations be reduced into following amounts. Corporation General Fund appropriation number, appropriation title, amount, total 100 series increase, $2,126. Total 200 series increase, $159,197.39. Total 300 series increase, $77,734.76. Total 400 series increase, $27,467.85, passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, this 30th day of October 2018. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Clerk Treasurer.
So this one is a more of our regular transfers that you're used to doing, which is really within departments, moving from one department line item to another department line item. And this is it. I don't know that we're going to have any more transfers through the end of the year because there's not going to be any more. So the departments are doing the best they can.
Doing a great job, right?
They are.
Okay. Temporary interfund.
So we ain't gonna vote.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Councilperson Prisco?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Here, yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams? Yes. Councilperson Cannon?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Resolution, temporary interfund loans. Resolution 18, a resolution authorizing temporary interfund loans, whereas the following temporary interfund loans are necessary for the purpose of maintaining cash operating balances in the funds herein named. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Portage is hereby authorized to make the following temporary loans, such loans be secured by a pledge of revenues to be received which are not otherwise allocated and be repaid on or before December 31st, 2018, date 8/31/18 to wheel tax from surtax amount $600,000. Date 8/31/18 to Park General from Park non-reverting amount $50,000. Date 8/31/18 General to General from Cable TV amount $800,000. Date 9/27/18 to General from Riverboat $400,000. Date 9/27 to General from Edith amount $200,000. Date 9/27/18 to MVH from LRNS amount $300,000. Date 9/27/18 to Park General from Cable TV $100,000 an amount. Date 9/27/18 to EMB from 2008 TIF $250,000. Date 9/27/18 to EMB from 2013 TIF $200,000. Date 10/31/18 to General from surtax amount $250,000. Passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, this 30th day of October 2018. Motion to adopt.
Second.
I'll sound like a broken record if I say the same thing over and over again, so it's finances here.
We're borrowing this, or loaning this until we get the tax.
So this is interfund loans, it's borrowing between funds, and so it's a cash flow thing.
Tax draw comes with.
Tax draw comes in December, but it's gonna immediately go right back out the door. We also remember borrowed from the state bond bank, that covers the tax draw, so, it's tight. The departments are doing a great job, though. Now I've said everything. What's that?
Next year's budget's even tighter,
Next year's budget will be even tighter because of this year's budget, yeah.
Okay, do me a favor, call the roll.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Prisco?
Yes. Unfinished, the business. Is there anybody that has anything from the past, unfinished business? New. Anybody have anything new business? I have a couple things. Last month when we had our city council meeting, the internet, we didn't have internet access, and nobody was aware of it until Councilman Zilli arrived and our clerk treasurer, Stidham. There was an issue. It was brought up at the beginning of the meeting by Lynch. Some questions were asked. There was no internet service. And that was the first time since we've been here that there was no internet service. And a big reason we stream live, and it's important that the residents of Portage, the business owners of Portage, or anybody interested in the city, can view a city council meeting. Luckily, I don't know what Colin Zilli did, he was able to do something in order to get things going, and thank God he did. But during that process, that evening when there was some, we had asked a few things of the superintendent, Jen Ornsborn, she's not here tonight. But I just wanted to do a follow-up. So last week, I talked to the city council attorney, Mr. Elwood, Ken Elwood, and I formed a committee in order to investigate what the issue was. And on that is Councilperson Lynch and Councilperson Liz Testo. I had sent off some emails last week just asking some basic questions pretty much about the internet process in this building. Didn't get unable to get any answers, nothing. I sent it to the park department. I ended up getting a hold of the IT person for the city of Portage, Justin Gamble. I made a telephone call out to him. We discussed a couple items. Today I had to see him and I asked him a few questions. I guess the problem is the communication, the email that I sent out were to two people, the superintendent of the parks, Jen, and to Mr. Gamble, Justin Gamble, which I've had correspondence. I have not received an email back or any dialogue from the superintendent of the parks into what could have possibly happened. I didn't know if it was a Comcast issue with the internet, if the internet router or any wires were removed. I had no idea. I don't know what happened, whether they were doing. So I felt it was important because I didn't want this to happen again. So that's why I formed this group to go further. Subsequently, I have not heard anything. So I'm going to ask you, as my city council attorney, what steps can I take going forward to try to get some dialogue?
So I did get a call from an attorney yesterday indicating that he represented park superintendent. He indicated that he would prepare a responsive document to our FOIA request. And so I anticipated getting that today before the meeting. That's what he indicated. He indicated that there are no videos, that the video equipment hasn't worked in the parks building for some time. But he did indicate that they would cooperate. Tonight I would ask the council to vote on approval of this investigation into what happened to the internet and to also issue general subpoena powers to the committee. They have that authority. And then we would send a letter setting a date for certain witnesses to come in and speak to the committee.
Does anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion.
You want to state the motion?
Just what Ken just said. You want to repeat for the motion that we
You can just
designate the
motion what I said.
the committee? Yeah, just motion what Ken just said. We designate a committee, have.
The president appoints the committee. You guys are authorizing the investigation and giving the committee subpoena powers.
Rights.
And just to be clear, state statute gives us the authority to do this, correct?
State statute gives you the authority to investigate and to issue subpoenas. It's not your employee. If you find anybody at the park's not your employee. So it's just a matter of finding out for yourself what happened and then making any recommendations to the mayor.
I'll second that motion.
I just want to make a comment. I guess I didn't mention when I did send out the emails to the superintendent of parks and to Mr. Gamble, Justin Gamble, I did ask for the FOIA request. I asked for videotapes. Ken can talk further because I talked to Ken about it. We wrote it up. And like I said, I heard nothing, but I did hear that the cameras here have not worked for a number of months, possibly years. And that becomes an issue. That was part of a bond issue for the parks, that when we put in these cameras here. And it's a liability issue not to have cameras working in a public place. Businesses, I own 2 of them. My insurance company, on both of my businesses, I get a break on my insurance costs due to the fact that I have cameras. It's a liability. Gotta have them working. If they're not working and they've been out for that long, I can understand why a call would not be made to a company to come out here and fix your cameras. Then I further heard that the cord to the cameras was unplugged. Now, of course, that's a rumor. I heard that today from a gentleman, that the cord was unplugged from the cameras. And if that's the case, once we get into this investigation, that becomes an issue. We're not saying who did what or any of that. You know, I'm hearing rumors you're going after this person, you're doing this and that. No, just want to know what happened. Just want to know what happened. Well, there's been a motion and a second. You want to call the roll?
Councilperson Clem?
No.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon?
No.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Naprisco?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Thank you. Keep everybody updated as we get further into this. Like I said, it could be nothing, you know, but
Just one procedural thing. Can a committee be 2 people? Does it have to be 3?
This is not a standing committee, it's an
Okay.
ad hoc committee. So
Never
it
mind.
would be- But I think it is 3, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you have to have 3, otherwise.
I think it is 3
have
members. Mark, Sue, and Mark, Sue, and.
Oh, you never said you were.
There's 3.
Oh, he never said he was on
Oh,
it.
sorry.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But I have a question with this. I have a question on this though, is where my concern is what do we go through all this and we're going through the public eye of all this? What capabilities, if we find evidence or not, what is the council gonna be able to do with any of that information?
we'll decide that whenever we get that information, whether it's valid or not. Could it be a charge, possibly? I don't know. We'll see.
That's what I was kinda asking,
That's why we have this
I
group.
mean, I guess.
The park personnel works for the park and the mayor, so we don't have any authority over that. It would be a recommendation to the mayor.
As it would be for, I mean, even if it were a non-park employee, I mean, we don't have
So,
employment authority over any city employee.
so we're just beating against the wall because it's gonna make the mayor's decision to do any discipline, not us.
Well, correct. Yeah, but whatever the findings will be.
That is true. I understand that part, but I just
You know, like I said, I just.
dragging everything
You know,
through.
what really got me mad is that they knew that the internet wasn't working and there wasn't a telephone call made to these 2 gentlemen. They came here pulling their hair out. I mean, at least there should have been enough from somebody in the park department.
That I agree with.
To give them a call.
Sure, that I agree with. There was some faults, I understand that.
Appreciate that at all, you know?
That I agree with.
It's not the way to do business. It's not the way to do business when you have cameras in a place and the cord's unplugged, but I was told that if that's the case, not the way to do business. Is there anything else under new business? Notice of taxpayers, none. Receptions, remonstrances, public input, or any other business? Anybody out in the public want to come forward, give your name, where you live, and come in front of us and feel free to speak. This is your opportunity. Since there isn't any, is there a motion to adjourn?
Wait.
What?
I think he wanted to speak, he was just looking
Oh, I'm
to see if anybody
sorry.
else was.
I was looking around to see if anybody else wanted to go first.
So I guess.
Okay, once again, give your name, I know you said it earlier, but this is a different meeting, and your address.
My name is Jack Elson. I live in Plainfield, Illinois, but I'm here about a property at 3130 Willow Creek Road, which is in the Raymond E. and Irene V. Trust. One of the trustees of the trust, Lisa Ring, is here, has asked me to speak on behalf of the trust and the heirs of the trust. Mr. Ridge passed away about 2 years ago, and his trust has been going through the process of all the property and other materials in the trust are being distributed. This land, 3130 Willow Creek, is one of the final pieces of property. The problem that, and to be honest with you, I'm not really clear exactly what I expect from the council as I appear before you, other than to hear me out and indicate if you have any recommendations on how we might proceed. You may recall, or you may not recall, that the city of Portage purchased 4 parcels of land from 3130 Willow Creek Road. And in so doing, 4 parcels were left remaining in the trust. 2 on the eastern side along Willow Creek Road, and 2 on the western side that abut the walking path or the bike path or whatever. Trail. And the problem is that those 2 western parcels are landlocked. And there were a lot of errors and omissions in the appraisal that was completed for the city that ignored completely the fact that there were the 2 parcels that would be landlocked. We have been trying to figure out what our best approach is to dealing with this landlocked situation. We believe that in the process of the purchase by the city of Portage and the lack of knowledge and information in the original appraisal, that those 2 remaining parcels have been severely devalued by that process. And had the appraisal been done properly, there should have been compensation to the trust or the owner of the property at the time. And there hasn't been. And now the land is landlocked and becomes very difficult to understand what the heck to do with it. I will indicate the city of Portage is actually in the process. We've talked with Colin Highland, and we appreciate his working with us. They can, if we so choose, purchase the land on the eastern side. But he's indicated that I think because of the zoning issues of the other land, that's not land that can be purchased by the city. But we could probably sell the land on the eastern side on the open market. Whether or not we're going to get a better deal from the city, we don't know until we see the offer. So our main concern is what the heck do we do with these 2 pieces of land that have been devalued? And not only that most likely, in our opinion, was not compensation that should have been paid at the time this deal was done. So I have a lot of information here, copies of stuff and so on and so forth. I don't know that it's worth handing that out, but that's the situation. And we are concerned enough about this that we we've considered the option of reporting the appraisal process to the Attorney General of Indiana. We believe that there are large enough errors and omissions in the appraisal that was done that has caused this to take place, and it should be investigated. It's beyond my understanding and anybody else that I have ever talked to how the appraisal could identify this land as 5 acres when indeed it was 6.6 acres.
Who did the appraisal?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. Thanks.
The company that did it is PAS.
So how's the city?
Professional
How's the city
Is
responsible?
that the city's appraiser? Sir, is that the city's appraiser?
Yeah, that was done for the city. The city
Did you have your own appraisal done?
We had our own appraisal done.
Okay.
There have been appraisals done on this land many different times over the last.
Was this a lawsuit or was this an agreed condemnation?
You mean between the city and Mr. Rich at the time?
Yeah.
The proposal was made by the city of Portage, a uniform land acquisition offer signed by John Shepard at the time, who was in charge of that. And eventually the deal was agreed to by Mr. Rich.
So Just for clarity, redevelopment commission's purchasing the land, not, or is approaching to purchase the land, not the city.
Correct. Back in, I believe, 2014 or 15.
Okay.
They own some of it now.
Yes. So it's an RDC issue,
And
the
it-
council really has no say over it.
Is it also in the TIF district?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
So any thoughts, ideas, any information you can provide us? We do believe that there is a huge error in the appraisal itself, in the appraisal document.
Well, and that's something you can get with John Shepherd, Greg Sapkowski. I mean, that should come through there, you know.
It's the redevelopment commission, not the city council or the city that purchased the land. And
Can you look into it, Colin? You said you've worked well with Colin Highland, I'm sure.
We've been in touch
All right.
over many months.
Well, Colin, to get the right players involved and try to get this thing expedited, all right?
He did suggest the park district or the park foundation, and we did reach out to the superintendent who, to be honest with you, does not seem to have any concept of urgency in this matter, and has not really responded in a way that we would appreciate the response by Colin Highland. I followed up and I finally had a conversation about a week ago. So it had been several weeks. And at the time that she called me, I believe it was Friday, a week ago Friday, she indicated that the foundation had just met that morning and that they were wondering if we would want to donate the land. Well, the initial communication that Colin had sent her had been about purchasing the land. I could have easily told her, had she communicated with me before that Friday, that we were not interested in donating it. So just the whole process of dealing with the superintendent is quite frustrating.
Mr. President, if you'd like me to summarize, I can do so very briefly.
Go ahead, Colin.
I'll come up to the microphone since we're live here. So, and there's a couple RDC members here as well, Liz and John, so I feel appropriate to speak on this very briefly here. If you recall, there was the proposed Robbins Road Extension project right off of just south of the YMC off Willow Creek Road. That project was designed and bid out, and the project came in well over bid, and therefore, I believe the staff at the time, back in 2014-15, decided they did not have the budget to pursue that project, and the project was scrapped at that time for that year. As part of that design process, though, parcels were identified, these bridge parcels, to be acquired for that road acquisition. The mayor has indicated that this project is not a priority at this time, that there's other priorities. I think elucidated on the entire issue, and we're working hopefully to resolve something and maybe we bring something to the redevelopment commission to discuss.
Nice, thank you.
Thanks, Colin.
We do have two members on the redevelopment that are here, so I'm hoping you hear what Mr. Elson has to say.
Yeah, we,
Go ahead.
do you want to go ahead, John?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna recommend that you come to the RDC meeting, which is the third or fourth
Maybe I should just
Thursday.
move in that old house.
Huh?
Well, that
Maybe
solves
I
a lot of
should just
issues.
Move into that old house, then I'll be here.
Get
There you
rent,
go, well, maybe
charge some
not.
rent.
You start charging.
Yeah, that's a lot of meetings, maybe address a letter to us, to the RDC, if you can't make, I know it's,
Yeah, so,
Travel.
yeah, that's okay, I might be able to make it.
okay, as long as the roads aren't slick. We don't wanna get, we want you to be safe, 'cause we're getting into that weather.
On some ice skates.
My daughter lives by you, so I know how treacherous the roads can be.
Okay.
But, yeah, I would say write a letter, what you just said to us, basically, and give it to the RDC members. And if you can make a meeting, it's the fourth Thursday of every month.
Okay.
At 6:30, correct?
4 o'clock.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
I
we
was
haven't
telling you the wrong
determined
time.
that meeting because that's Thanksgiving, so
Yes.
don't do that.
We're not having one in November.
Keep in
are we?
contact with Colin. Colin will know the
The
date
of the
change
meeting.
and such.
Okay.
And I know this.
This is so frustrating because there's some of us, I think, on the board that would like to have that project go forward. Former member Lynch and I spoke when we were on the RDC together.
And I've talked to.
Yeah, we have
And
discussed.
me and John and both Councilman Cannon and me and Councilman Lynch have spoken. It is frustrating. because it's gone on too long and.
Well, that's part of it, but a bigger part of the issue is there's 2 pieces of land at the moment that are landlocked.
Can I ask you what those sizes were? You probably said it, but I don't recall what those were. What
They
sizes
were
were?
each about 0.9 acres.
So say an acre apiece. I'm just kind of wondering why that wasn't part of the deal. Instead of separating it and landlocking it, should have been a deal saying, no, take all this or we're not gonna sign.
Well,
I
if you
mean,
read the appraisal, there are certain paragraphs in there that do allude to the fact that because the city bought 2 pieces for the road, one main piece plus one that turns to the south,
Yeah.
a smaller piece,
Yeah.
they bought 2 extra pieces sides next to the 2 pieces for the road, and they alluded to the fact that those were all the remainder that was left in the land, when in fact there were the additional land pieces further west of that. So, like I say, there's a lot of errors and omissions in the appraisal, which, had it been dealt with properly in the first place, we would not be in this situation. We believe the trust would have been compensated fairly for the devaluation of the land, and then perhaps the land could be donated down the road. I don't know, but at the moment, we're trying to figure out what to do with it and how to be fairly treated because of the situation.
It's a difficult situation because Mr. Shepherd doesn't do much work for the RDC anymore, and Mr. Riches, those are the 2 that talked in 2014 or whenever it was. And none of us were there, so we're gonna get to the bottom of it for you.
Right,
but the RDC is the place to go to as the redevelopment commission.
So.
And Colin is our representative.
Yeah, I understand that John Shepherd is no longer an actual full-time employee.
Correct.
I believe he might do a little consulting, but.
Sure.
One other concern that we have is that in one of his letters that he sent, because he actually made 2 proposals, one in February for a certain amount of money. Mr. Rich had conversations and gave him a copy of an older appraisal that he then used to increase the value per square foot and increase the offer from $231,000 to $249,000. But in his letter, he also refers to a Oak Hill Partners as the, if there were any questions about the offer or the land that he recommended, that Oak Hill Partners was the firm that was dealing with the real estate challenges and questions. It's my understanding that John Shepherd is a principal of Oak Hill.
Yes.
Is that?
We actually, he's not been a full-time employee. We actually engage Oak Hill Partners, his company, to do the acquisition.
Yeah, he doesn't work for the city.
Agreement, yeah.
Yes, he was.
He was never a paid employee.
No, he's always been a
He was a consultant.
Well,
I think the RDC is the way to go.
Yeah.
We got 2 members up here on the RDC.
There's just a lot of problems with the deal when it took place 4 years ago, and we believe that there's somebody else to do some additional investigation into this. We're just wondering why the appraisal was so far off and that land was that was left over was not indicated in any way, shape, or form. That is, just hanging out there that's landlocked right now. So,
Colin, can you get involved in this and just try to wrap this up in the next meeting or 2 with the RDC so this gentleman and his family, or friends, trust him, just get it done. Okay? I mean, you came before us at an earlier meeting we took.
we've been here before.
I know, and we don't want you driving all the way. I mean, let's just wrap this stuff up for you, okay? All right, well, thank you for coming. We appreciate it, okay? Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else that wants to come speak from the public?
Move for adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.